Okay, in this video, I'm going to be going over the male rankings of the UFC after UFC 317. A lot has changed, and I'm going to be going over what I think about the rankings, where I think like maybe they messed up in placements, maybe where they did good, and also what matchups should be made after these rankings have been announced. So, we're going to start with the pound per pound rankings, which has Ilia Topuria now at number 1, which is, I think, a perfect placement for Ilia Topuria. He knocks Makhachev off the top spot, who has been there for a long time. Some people would say that's controversial, but after Ilia Topuria's last 3 wins, I think this is definitely what should be. It's correct to me because Islam, he's doing good. He's very good. He hasn't exhibited that pound for poundness of Topuria getting 2 belts, and he's undefeated. It makes sense to have Ilya at number 1. Makhachev's at number 2. If he beats Madalena, they'll put him right back up, I'm sure. 100% sure they would do that. Marab's at 3. That's fine with me. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but yeah. The main key about the pound for pound rankings that has changed, besides Ilya at number 1, is Pantoja is now at number 5, which I think is perfect. Before the event even started, I thought Pantoja should be at number 5. I don't think he should be above Dricus. People think he should be higher, like number 3. I don't really think so. I think you have to take comp into consideration. Dricus Duplessis beat Whitaker and Adesanya, 2 arguable middleweight. I mean, Adesanya is an arguable middleweight GOAT. I disagree with that, but you have to take that into consideration. Pantoja is beating a lot of people, but not the best competition all around, I would say. Not very popular competition or people that have any merit, really, in the division. Or you can't have much merit at flyweight. Nobody really does. So it's hard to get that. You have to be a Pantoja who has like 25 defenses to get the appreciation or merit. And there's no one else like that. So Pantoja can't really get super big names on his record unless he moves up. So it makes sense for him to be at 5. I think he should be at 6, to be honest. Alexander Volkanovski, he's beaten the. I think he's beaten the comp. I think he's got his belt back. I think Volk should be above Pantoja still. I'm on the Pantoja respect train. I'm down to respect Pantoja and what he's done. But at the same time, I think Volk's done more, and you have to take flyweight into consideration. So I'd say he should be 1 lower than that. He should be above Ankalaev, though. I do agree with that. I think Tom Aspinall should be a little bit higher, probably. And then Charles Oliveira moves 2 down, still in the rankings. I'm okay with that. Next, we have flyweight. So at flyweight, we have a huge jump for Joshua Van, who had his amazing win. 11 spots. He jumped from number 12 to number 1. In the span of 3 weeks, he jumped from unranked to the number 1 in the division, fighting for a belt next. That is extremely impressive from Joshua Van. Some things just work out, especially in a division as just as destroyed by Pantoja as flyweight. You can get to the top very quickly, and he gets a title shot because Pantoja already beat everybody in the division, besides Tyra coming off a loss, pretty much, and Albazi coming off a loss. So, Van versus Pantoja is the next fight to make it flyweight for the belt. Makes a lot of sense. Another fighter that was on the 317 card, Brandon Royval, who fought Joshua Van and lost. He dropped 2. I think he should stay above Brandon Moreno. That's the stupidest shit ever. He beat Brandon Moreno. Why is he below him? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Everything else is relatively the same. Kai doesn't drop at all. That makes sense. Maybe he should have dropped below him in all cap hype-wise, but I do think Brandon Royval should fight either shit. Minnow caps are meant. Brandon Royval is weird. Brandon Royval has a weird situation because he doesn't have enough at flyweight to make anything worth it. He doesn't have enough. He can't fight for the belt ever again, pretty much, because Pantoja is never going to lose, and he just lost to Joshua Van. So even if Joshua wins, he doesn't make sense for a belt. So Brandon Royval's in a weird spot. If I was him, I'd move up to bantamweight and try himself there. I would do that if I'm Brandon Royval, even though he's coming off a loss. Flyweight is really logjam for him especially. I'd move up to bantamweight. That's just what I would think. And Brandon Royval at bantamweight is interesting, and I think he does have some success. Not a lot, but I think he has a little bit of success. I don't know, though. The bantamweights are getting kind of good. as of late. As for Kai France coming off his loss against Pantoja, I think you should make Manel Cap. Manel Cap was supposed to fight Brandon Royval. You could remake that fight. I don't think so. I think you should do Manel Cap versus Kai France. They have beef. It would be hype. It makes the most sense. Kick Brandon Moreno up to bantamweight or Brandon Royval, and he should do it anyway. And then Manel Cap fight Kai France in a super epic fight. And then the winner, hopefully, Manel Cap can fight Joshua Van coming off a win against Pantoja, or more likely, Pantoja fights Manel Cap after he beats Kai France. If Kai wins against Manel Cap, I don't even know what you do at that point. Flyweights fucked. So, next we have Bantamweight. Nothing happened in Bantamweight. And then we have Featherweight, which had some weird changes. We have Bantamweight, or Featherweight, having Movzar go up to, which makes some sense, I guess, because they just kicked Diego down. Nothing really happened in Featherweight on this card, but they had a ton of changes for no reason. The main thing to happen was Ilia Topuria's deletion from the weight class. Ilia Topuria is no longer number one. Max Holloway is number one. So everybody kind of moved up, and they switched Movzar and Diego, even though they're giving Movzar envelope to Aaron Pico, which is the stupidest shit ever and doesn't make any sense. They're still doing it. Otherwise, I would say these rankings make a lot of sense and don't really matter very much. Next, lightweight. So, the main division that had impact for this card was lightweight. So, Ilya is number one. Everything else went down. Patty went down 2. Beneil went to the same, I guess. That's the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. They're having Paddy Pimblett go lower than Beneil Dariush, diminishing hype for that fight, which tells me that they don't want to do Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria next. Ilia Topuria is champion. He's champion. Islam's now number one. Not still in the rankings, which makes sense, I guess, because he can't be at the welterweight rankings yet. What would you do? You have to have him sit around for a bit, and then everything else kind of just went down. Paddy Pimblett goes down 2. Doesn't make any sense. As for Ilia Topuria, I think you do a matchup against Paddy Pimblett. It's either between Paddy, Arman, and Gaethje. Everybody knows that. But since the matchups, the number one contender fights between Arman, Pimblett, or Gaethje aren't happening at all, it's hard to say what to do with Ilya. You could have him jump up after Islam versus Jack. That would be kind of funny. I doubt they're going to do that. So what I think they're going to do is Pimblett versus Gaethje, to be honest. I think they're going to do that. I think it got leaked. I think Drickus leaked Paddy versus Gaethje. So that's pretty much confirmed, I think. So in that case, they might be just doing Arman versus Ilya, which I wouldn't do. I don't think Arman deserves a title shot after he missed weight for his last title shot. And honestly, only has beaten Oliveira. That's the only good win he has at lightweight, besides Beneil Dariush. And Oliveira is a great win to have. Obviously, Ilia Topuria beat Oliveira for the belt. I'm not saying it's a bad win at all. But if you get the shot, you miss weight, you have to fight one more person, at least to me. So maybe they're doing Arman versus Dan Hooker, because they have beef. That would make a lot of sense too. I don't know. I think Paddy versus Justin, I think the winner should get the belt. I think if Arman fights Dan Hooker, I guess whoever wins first or whoever wins better should fight Ilya next. You keep Ilya on ice for a little bit, and then you do that, I think. And as for Charles coming off a loss, I think you either do him versus Oliveira. They fought once in the past, but that fight's sick as fuck if they were to do that. Or maybe you can do an Oliveira versus a Gamrot, because it's approachable for Oliveira, and if you want to get him back in the rankings and have him coming off a win and have some hype, you do that. Also, Gamrot arguably deserves it. He's fought 2 low-ranked guys and won both times now after coming off his loss to Dan Hooker. So I think you probably do that, right? You do Oliveira versus either Max Holloway or Gamrot. That's what I would do, at least. Next, welterweight. Nothing changed at all. Middleweight. Nothing changed at all. Light heavyweight, nothing changed at all. Heavyweight, nothing changed. So, that's pretty much it. I thought there was going to be a little bit more. I guess I could talk about lightweight for a little bit longer. I guess there's nothing more to talk about, really. Those are the matchups that make sense to me. No other rankings have really changed. Yeah. I think that's about it, actually. I think Max Holloway is going to beat Dustin Poirier. I think that's a prediction I will make, especially after this most recent fight. I think Tapuria is just him. I think he's just better than everybody else. I think him knocking out Max Holloway isn't a huge stand on Holloway's career or his chin at all, to be honest. And I think at this point, Dustin's too old. I think Max Holloway's going to get it done. So I do predict them doing Holloway versus Oliveira. I think that's a sick fucking fight, too, at lightweight. And if Holloway wins, that's really good back to back to back wins for Holloway, going up to maybe fight a number one contender fight against Arman Sarukian coming off a loss or whatever. Because he beat Gaethje. So arguably, it doesn't really make any sense that Holloway's getting Poirier. I think Holloway should be more in the mix for the title fight than Gaethje at this point. And Gaethje being a huge pussy about it doesn't make me want to give him a title shot. Lightweight is in such a weird fucking position. Because Arman, Patty, and Gaethje, not really Patty, because Patty wants a fight. Arman and Gaethje are being such lame-os, lame-ass motherfuckers about this fight. The logjam needs to be fixed. And I think it should have happened by now, which is super frustrating. But as for the most hype, I think Paddy Pimblett versus Ilya is the most hype. They did the promo for it. It makes the most sense. That's what I would like. If everything goes perfect for me, like as a fan, I'd have Paddy versus Ilya next. I'd do Arman versus Gaethje. Because I'd just be honest, fuck Arman, to be honest. I don't really care if Arman gets booted. People are saying in the comments that Ilya's ducking Arman. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Ilya is coming off of 3 wins. 3 super fucking famous fan favorites of the sport. You can't fight Arman coming off of a stupid ass weight cut situation. That is such a humongous step down in terms of hype for his performances. It's only been going up for Ilya. If I'm Ilya and I want it to continue going up, and I think Ilya is going to retire in 2 to 3 more fights, I might wait for Islam and wait for the contenders to kind of clean up shop or force a Paddy Pimblett fight. I think Ilya has a ton of power to wield at this point in his career. And if Islam loses, it's a lot less hype. You still do that fight with Topuria though. But if Islam wins, you bring Ilya Topuria up to 170 and you have him fight him as soon as possible. That's what I think. I think Jack beats Islam, so we won't see that probably. But there's a lot to do with Ilya Topuria, but a lot of the fighters at lightweight are ruining it, and that's my final take. I will see you soon. Sorry that was so jumbled up at the end there. I thought there was going to be more to talk about in the heavier divisions, but I guess there was no heavier division fight. So yeah, goodbye.